then we need an economic system. You cannot have a strong economy without a strong currency. And that is what we need. And to have a strong currency, it has to be different than just paper money. And therefore, we are obligated, and the market will obligate us to look at the monetary system. And that is where we have made great strides. I never dreamed myself that 3 or 4 or 5 years ago that it would be on the lips of so many people. A discussion in Washington, literally getting passed in the House of Representatives last year, an Audit the Fed bill. We're making great progress on this issue. Our economy going again, we need to deal with the major subject is returning liberty to the people and having confidence that freedom works and the people know how to spend their money. But to get the capital back into this country, we've exported capital due to our monetary system and other things. But to get the capital back in, you have to have a strong currency. You can't have a paper currency and be the reserve currency of the war and you export all the jobs. But to bring it back, you have to invite the capital back, a strong currency, but also a sensible tax code. You can't tax capital. You can't say that if you repatriate your money and bring your money back home, you take 35% from it. So that has to end. We have to change the tax code that the penalties are minimal. Ideally, of course, our ideal that we would like to see someday is getting rid of the income tax entirely. Worry about that, and they say, yeah, that sounds good, I wish that could happen, but how does a country run without an income tax? And I said, well, why don't you just look back before 1913? The country was run pretty well, and they didn't have these deficits. So no, it isn't so much the tax policy as the spending policy, and that reflects the attitude of the people. If the people continue to want us to pursue these wars overseas and try to prop up the entitlement system and never challenge the entitlement system, there's no way we can meet up our obligations and we'll end up with runaway inflation. What we're proposing here is the fact that we could, if we were determined to work our way out of it, cut the spending overseas, cut the taxes, get people back to work again, change the tax code, decrease the regulations, don't increase the regulations, and also emphasize the principles of liberty in the marketplace. Protect private property. Don't let the government always rule and control our private property. Emphasize the issue of private contracts. These are the things that make us great and prosperous. Those are the principles that build America. Those are the principles we need to restore. Today will be a special day because that is what the vote is all about. There's a lot of questions I've been asked about other individuals entering the race, and it will change things to some degree. But I do not anticipate very many of you saying, well, I'm going to support you today, Ron, but I'm going to wait and see who else comes in because I might switch my vote. I'm not worried about that. But others will come into the race. They're looking around. They're looking around for the super establishment candidate that can challenge us, and they will come in one at a time and finding that individual that will maintain the militarism and the spending and all the problems and not challenge the Federal Reserve. But it won't dilute our vote. As a matter of fact, it'll be a stimulus because more will join us because they know that the status quo has gotten us to this problem, to these conditions. The status quo politicians cannot answer the questions. We have to have something new and different and reflect on our traditions, reflect on our Constitution, and reflect and believe in liberty. I will be around the rest of the day. I will be back to address you later on, but I do have another TV appearance and I have another speech to give. But I do want to conclude by not only saying once again, I'm delighted Carol's with me, but I'm delighted that all of you are with me, and we really look forward to a fun-filled day. And of course, if we get our vote out, maybe we will just have a super fun-filled day. I thank you very much.